What's going on, everybody? Not here, and it's been a while since we've done a look at Pokemon Center ETBs. Full disclosure: this video is not sponsored by Under Armour. The horrible takes are not sponsored by Under Armour, and I will not be comparing a limited edition product to stamp promos from pre-release in 2000 and 2000, or yeah, 2020 and 2021. So that being said, um, let's get right into it. SV base, Koraidon, Miraidon. Um, Now, what's interesting is the market has softened a little bit. Now, there's a buyout of Paldea Evolved, but when we look at the underlying standard ETBs, they're all up. They're up across the board, the same as the booster boxes. So, I think there's a little bit of softening here, just because people are getting a little scared. Probably listen to YouTubers trashing the product because they missed out. Um, but it's buying opportunity, in my opinion. So SV base, $200 down from 225 at the beginning of the month. Miraidon, 217 down from 255. Now, the volume of these is very consistent. What we're going to see with the SV base and the Paldea Evolved, and even the Obsidian Flames, uh, the volume of these has been very, very consistent, meaning that when they're buyouts of these and they spike, there aren't 50 that all of a sudden come to market, which tells me with a reasonably high degree of certainty, there aren't that many of these out there that can come to market. So, 20 or 25 of these, and, the Koraidon, Miraidon are almost never on eBay, at least when I look. So, Paldea, 290 to 410, 24 on the market. Now, again, this is a little bit of a buyout. I would be shocked if, there aren't 50 of these on the market later, because, for $400, you take your profit. It's sitting down from 328, 299, 151. For the first time in forever, it's down a little bit, 476 to 472 to 464. But again, with these Obsidian volumes, or the supply is down. 151, supply's up a little bit. And now we go to Paradox. These have been hit pretty hard with buyouts over the last couple months. Nothing in the last week or two or three. Roaring Moon, 130 down to 135. The Iron Valiant, 130 to 124. But, again, we have reasonably low volume. And, what's interesting here is these were readily available. October, November, December. I was buying cases of these for sub $300 on eBay and I think TCG Player. And now they're starting to dry up because, at that point in time, Paradox Rift, everybody thought it was garbage. But, you look at the print runs here, 42,350 each. There really aren't that many. Paldean Fates, 229 to 217, which is interesting because the regular ETB's through the roof. About the same quantity, 69.70. I'm kind of taking these in groups because they are kind of groupish, and they do trade, not really. They don't really trend across the board trade wise, but like the temporals will trade together, the paradox drifts will trade together, the SV bases will trade together, generally speaking. So Walking Wig, this one had a buyout. Actually, I think two buyouts about 4 to 6 weeks ago. So 219 down to 204. These were at $100 forever. Iron Leaves, 133 to 127. And here you can see they were down to 11. Now there's 32 back on the market. There are a good amount of temporals that are available, but Iron Leaves, 23 to 24. Not much action there. Twilight, this is what you like to see. This got bought out, came all the way back down. I have so many of these, it's insane. 110 to 125. Moving in the right direction, 158 down to 133. There's value in this one, where, a lot of these are a little on the toppy side, especially since the promos have come down. Shrouded 89 was it, or 85 was at 89. 120 of these available. If you're looking to buy them, you're probably not going to get a better price than 85. 85, you back out 14% plus another $10 for shipping. I mean, you're basically right at cost. Stellar, 143 down to 138. 41 to 33. What surprised me here is these were available forever in the UK, and it doesn't look like the volume, a whole lot of volume of these has made it over here. Certainly hasn't made it on TCG Player. I would have expected a lot more than 33 of these sitting out, which is interesting. Surging 175, 174, 117 on the market. I remember sitting here when this first came out and these were 100, just screaming, You gotta buy them, you gotta buy them." Because, there's never going to be more on the market than what there are today, unless they do something they haven't done in the past, which is, reprint and have a second wave of product come out. And, by second wave, I don't mean, the first wave come out when the set is spoiled or announced, I should say, and then the second wave come out of the same print run on release date, which has happened for every single one of these sets except for Prismatic, and we just got the second wave of Prismatic this past week. So Prismatic 330. Speaking of, down to 250. It's a panic dump here. Everybody's like, I paid $60 for these, so I'm gonna scalp them. So 134 down up to 208. So a lot of these, and then Journey Together 139 down to 114. These are starting to get interesting. The thing that sucks about this is you can't get sealed cases, which I understand why they went to limit of one or limit of two, but not being able to get sealed cases is kind of shitty. 245, 263 available. So let's go to the promos. And the promos, some of them are flatter, some of them are down a little bit. And I don't see how anybody can compare a $74 promo. I mean, the most expensive promo was Snorlax at 151 to a pre-release promo or a staff promo that was trading for $5,600 at the peak of the largest bubble we've ever seen. As that comparison is just pure insanity to me. But anyway, so Koraidon up a buck, 17 to 31 available here. 73 Miraidon, 67 bucks now. Up to 54 of these in the market. So some of these come to market. The same with Paldean Pikachu, which has been declining slowly. 48 to 71. Obsidian Charmander, 162, 116, or 126, 116. Pretty flat there. Snorlax coming down a little bit. 87 of these in the market. So, I think people are starting to push this because I think people are getting a little nervous with 151. I'm personally not, but with some of the reprints coming out, I think people are a little concerned that there may be some more 151 ETBs coming out here before the end of the print cycle. I'm not concerned about it, but you never know. I mean, none of us know. So, Screamtail down a little bit, Iron Bundle down a little bit, but a few more coming to market, and you can see negatives across the board, meaning there is more supply coming to the market. Paldean Mimikyu down to $35. This one got open to high hell, 114 of these on the market. Here's a Fluttermane, $44. It's interesting because this one got bought out a little bit, but it hasn't really moved. 23 in the market. The same with the Iron Thorns, 46 to 40, 37. Teal Mask Ogerpon, this is down to 24, and the Petrunt down to 1850. I mean, these two are about as value as you're going to get here. If you believe in the product, believe in the stamp promos, there's not a whole lot of downside on these. There may not be upside, maybe Dead Bunny, but I would buy these two over, something super toppy. And I'm a fan of the PSA 10s. I'm not a fan of paying more than like $150 or $200 for the PSA 10s. So, I'm not the target audience to pay $1,400-$1,500 for these with, pop under 100. I understand why it's there, because the longer these things are sealed, the more likely they are to get dinged and the cards are liable to get damaged, which is true. And, quite honestly, this product is turned into an absolute powerhouse. You look at the Sword and Shield versions that aren't special, except they have the Pokemon Center, a little bit different art. These things are here to stay. And, I think you get another 12 to 18 months out where the first half of the set's rotated out. And, you're in the same spot where you are with everything in Sword and Shield is $300 plus. These things are going to be humming. They just are. So, Teal Mask Ogerpon, 131. Petrunt 174, and they're gonna be out there for a while. Noctowl, Again, it's down $10, but not a whole lot of these on the market. Which again, the Stellar one I never really understood. Magneton's down to $36. This is the lowest I think I've seen it. 146 in the market. Early on, people just ripped these for grading place. Prismatic Eevee, down to 85. I would imagine this is going to come down a little bit more. 113 on the market, but as everybody gets their product, they're probably going to rep them and try to sell these for 85. And then the Journey Together version, $45. Down to 84. There's no rush to buy that because he just came out. So um, here's my favorite part. So this is effectively. Make sure I changed the formula here real quick. Yeah, I did. So this is effectively, for those of you who haven't seen this or need a refresher, I take the Pokemon Center ETB, the regular ETB, divided by 9 times 11 because you have to basically prorate the number of packs, and plus a promo, and compare the two. So is it more cost effective to buy the sealed Pokemon Center ETB or to buy the regular ETB plus the promo, net? And then here is a regular ETB from 410. So let's talk through this real quick. So Paldea Evolves down a little bit. Obsidian Flames down a little bit. 151 is up. Roaring Moons, the 2 Paradox Rift are up. The 2 bases are up here. Paldean's up. Temporal's up. Temporal's up. Twilight's down $1. Doesn't really matter. Shrouded's up 50 cents. Who cares? Stellar's up $1. Surging's up $8. Prismatic is down, obviously, with a bunch of product coming to market. And Journey's down $2. But again, across the board, outside of a few anomalies, everything's up. And it just keeps that slow churn moving upward. So value of the PC ETB versus the regular ETB. So the 2 SV base are overvalued. Now, the regular ETBs, they should be priced over $70. I mean, quite honestly, these should be pushing 90, 95 right now. So I think the regular ETBs are undervalued. Paldea Evolved, again, 410. Just got to buy out. I mean, don't touch them. The regular ETBs at 82, I think, are a much better deal. But if you're going to pay 82 for that, just pay 225 for the booster box or 240, whatever the number is. Obsidian overpriced. 151's overpriced a little bit. But again, the regular ETB keeps moving forward. I don't think you can go wrong with either one of these, especially as we get to the end of life cycle. The 2 Paradox Rift, pretty much a wash. So in this scenario, I'd obviously lean toward the Pokemon Center ETB. Paldean Fates, the regular ETB is up $10. It just keeps moving. So this moves up. The Mimikyu moves down. It's going to start to tilt toward the Pokemon Center ETB. For a while, this was like a plus 60 or a minus 60 number where the regular ETB was way undervalued compared to the Pokemon Center. Walking Wake again, just got to buy out. Don't touch that one. Iron Leaves, Twilight, pretty much a wash. Shrouded Fable, the Pokemon Center ETB $85 all day long versus a regular. Stellar's a little negative. Surging, slightly negative. Prismatic, slightly negative. Journey Together is interesting because the Pokemon Center ETB at 114 plus a promo is actually $18 of value above the regular ETB. And as I've said until I'm blue in the face, the best time to buy Pokemon Center ETBs is when the market's flooded with them. And, quite honestly, with Journey Together, that's right now. The unfortunate thing is you can't buy them in bulk because it's 1 or 2 at a time. I guess 2 at a time, which is kind of shitty, but it is what it is. So anyway, guys, wanted to go through this. And I think just key takeaways, even though the Pokemon Center ETB, the pricing is starting to soften a little bit. There is some supply coming to market, but the underlying ETBs are strong. Most of them are at all-time highs. No different than the booster boxes at all-time highs. So, you can say what you want about the stamp promos, but the Pokemon Center ETBs are going to trade, as a derivative of the regular ETBs. They're always going to trade as a premium. Now, is it a 2 or 3x premium, or is it, a 1.5x premium? Remains to be seen. We don't know. But what we do know is that the downside on the sealed product is obviously, some multiple of the regular ETBs, just because you have the 2 extra packs. Plus, you're going to get some value for the stamped Pokemon Center ETB. So Yeah, that's why I kind of focus on the ones in green here. Yeah, the ones with the large brackets, stay away from. Um, and that's where we're at for right now. So anyway, guys, like the video, subscribe to the channel, join the Discord. We have some sales coming. We have some European boxes hitting this weekend. We have Destiny Rivals next weekend. Uh, and we have all kinds of crazy stuff. So anyway, guys, have a good Monday.